Okay, guys, so here we are. There are two different ways that I've taught you so far on how to write a short answer response when I give you a prompt. Okay, I'm going to go over the specifics of using either of those methods. Yesterday, I introduced to you guys the APE method, and then a long time ago, we talked about the T method, the first way I showed you to do a short answer response. So, first, let's look at the difference between the T method and the APE method. So, the T method, this is a method that we use when we didn't know about box and bullets, okay? And what the T method is T, a thesis statement. This is where you're restating the prompt and then responding to it, giving your answer to the prompt. Then you give me one piece of evidence and some details about that. So you explain one thing you've learned about the topic and give details to the reader. And then the second E in the T method is doing the same thing. You are giving me a second piece of evidence about the topic that you learned and then give details to the reader. Now, the APE method that I kind of introduced to you yesterday, but didn't go into details about how to use it, uses that box and bullets method. We learned that boxes are the main idea and bullets are the details, right? So if I give you an article or something from an informational expository text to read, we would do the box and bullet methods, right? So you would use any box and bullets you remember in your brain, and you can do the APE method to respond to a prompt. A means you answer the prompt, and I give you some sentence stems that you can use right here in answering the prompt. P means to prove your answer. Now, proving your answer means you use your bullets or your details to answer. Now, for the A, for answering the prompts, you're going to use your box. You're going to put the main idea in that first sentence to answer it, and then provide the details or the bullets, improving your answer for P. The E in 8 comes from you. Why does it come from you? Because a short answer response is to show your readers how knowledgeable you are about something. So that E is you explaining the answer and giving your personal opinions and explanations that match the topic. Okay, so APE method, if we did box and bullets over it, and then the T method if we didn't use box and bullets. Now, is that a hardcore rule for you to follow? Not at all. You can use either one that works for you, okay, when doing a short answer response. So let's look at an example. We have a prompt. Our prompt says, describe the process for making spaghetti and the importance of knowing how to do so. Using the T method, thesis statement, evidence 1 in details, evidence 2 in details. We're going to use the T method. That means I restate my prompt and respond to it, give one piece of evidence and some details, a second piece of evidence and details, right? So how does that look? Now, pay attention because I have the highlights matching so you can tell which part is which in the T method. So I restated my prompt, the process for making spaghetti. I only took a part of it. I didn't use the whole prompt. I only took a chunk of it, and that's fine when you do that sometimes. And then my response is highlighted in yellow. The process for making spaghetti involves grocery shopping for and cooking the ingredients. It is important to know how to cook this and any other food because you have to eat to survive and can't live off of fast food your whole life. All right? Restated the prompt, responded. Purple, yellow. Now I'm going to give my first piece of evidence and the details. So, evidence 1, that's in green. The first step calls for you to go to the grocery store. This is how you have to make spaghetti. It's part of that. And then the details about going to the grocery store. What am I doing there? Well, basic ingredients to buy at the grocery store are pasta, tomato sauce, ground meat, salt, and pepper. All right? Green is the one thing I know, my evidence. Blue are the details that explain that evidence. Now, evidence 2 in details is pink and orange. Next, you go home to prepare the meal. Water has to boil in a pot before you add in the dry pasta. When the pasta is soft, you set it to the side after draining it. During the pasta boil, you can add ground meat to a skillet to brown. While it browns, you need to add salt and pepper. Once the meat is cooked, you drain it as well, then combine with pasta and tomato sauce. Let all ingredients cook together before serving and eating. Now, one thing I want to point out with evidence one and evidence two, the amount of details I gave were different. So with evidence one, I had very little amount of details compared to evidence two, and that is okay as long as I fully explain whatever evidence I gave. Okay, so going to the store, I went into details about what I need to buy at the store. That's good enough. I don't need to draw it out. But when it came for my evidence too about actually cooking, I needed to provide more details. Why? Because I want to show my reader I know what I'm talking about when it comes to cooking spaghetti. Okay? So that's the T method. Thesis statement, evidence one with details, evidence two with details. Now, let's look at the same prompt, but using the APE method. Now, I am using the APE method because let's say one day in class, I had to read this article about making spaghetti and then do box and bullets based off the little article. So I read the article. These are my box and bullets. I'm going to use my box and bullets to write my short answer response using the APE method. So the same thing. Answer the prompt. I'm going to turn the prompt into a question this time, and then I'm going to answer it instead of restating it and answering it like I did in the T method. So my prompt that's turned into a question is purple, and my response is going to be yellow. So let's go down here for A. How do you make spaghetti, and why do you need to know how? Well, you have to make sure you have all your ingredients and tools before you can cook, because cooking is a survival skill. All right. So did I use all of the prompt, every single word in the prompt when I turned into a question? No. I took what I needed and made it into a question that made sense. And then I answered it. What was the main idea? My box. So in my box, I have making spaghetti is an easy way to show and practice your cooking and survival skills. And so I use that, and that's my box right here, showing my survival skills. I mentioned that cooking is a survival skill. Cooking, survival skills. That's part of my box. Did I use everything I typed up in my box? No. Sorry, I had a typo. No, it's not every single thing that's from my box. I just took a piece of it and put it here. Now, prove your answer. This is where I'm putting in my bullets, those details. I'm putting this in there. So, P. This is true because you can't eat anything until you have cooked the pasta and the meat. Pasta is boiled in the water and meat is browned in the skillet. After you complete these things, you can mix them together with sauce and seasoning. Now, did I copy word for word my bullets or the details that I provided after reading the article about making spaghetti? No, I did not do that. I just took some of what I needed and put it here in the blue. These are the details, my bullets, okay? And then E in the APE method is to explain your answer. This is where you give your personal explanation about the topic and why it's important. So the sentence starter I'm going to use this proves that, okay? And so it's right here. Following these steps proves, so I use the word proves from my sentence starter. I didn't use it in the exact same format, but I'm following the same kind of path. So following these steps proves that you are able to feed yourself and not have to depend on unhealthy and expensive fast foods, okay? So we have the box and the APE method for responding to short answer responses, all right? With the APE method, it's useful to do it, the APE method, if I did box and bullets when I was learning about it. If not, then you can use the T method where I just provide my thesis and 2 pieces of evidence with details, okay? But the main thing you need to do when you are responding to short answer responses is to make sure that you do not repeat yourself when you're writing this and that you give enough details. You want to show your reader that you know what you are talking about, okay? So now that you have watched this, go complete part 3 in your week 22 assignment worksheet, go ahead and do part 3. You should be able to do it now, the little exercise to figure out the correct way to use the 8th method when you're responding to a prompt. If you need to, rewatch this video to see the difference between the T method and the 8th method when responding, when you're writing a short answer response, okay?